Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today I'm going to be talking about how I got Challenger on mid lane. So for this challenge, I started off last season, I played solo queue only and I got about 10 marks away from Challenger. I played a lot of Vex and Ziggs for that, but we didn't quite end up getting it by the end of the season. And so then this season I started off solo queue and then ended up playing duo queue in the end a lot, mostly with Dopamine. That's this person, or now he changed his name to Akuma, but this was my duo for most of the season. It was his first time getting Challenger and we were able to get him there alongside us, which was great. Really happy to do that. He was just an insanely good player, so shout out to Akuma for just carrying me and playing super well overall. But yeah, so we ended up getting Challenger, as you can see here, and I'm just going to talk about the biggest things that I learned in mid lane. This challenge took a lot longer than normal. It took like 3.5, almost 4 months, when the other challenges had taken like 1 to maybe 2 months. So definitely learned a lot more in this challenge. It was more difficult. I think mid lane's quite a difficult role, and it took me a while to really get a good grasp of it, but I think because of that I was able to learn a lot, and so I'm going to share all of that with you guys today in this video. Again, my main champion for the second push, the second season, was mainly Jace. I played a lot of Jace, but as you can see here, I have like 340 Vex games, a lot of Ziggs games. I played a little bit even Fiora mid. Lucian I played some mid, didn't go as well. Corki, Diana, Orianna, so I still played a lot of champions, even if Jace ended up being the champion I played the most by far. I even ended up getting rank 1 on him, but I'm just going to give you guys a lot of tips on mid lane, so let's get right into it. Okay guys, so for starters in mid lane, I just want to talk about choosing the types of champions you like to play. So I can kind of categorize mid lane into roughly 3 types of roles. So you have your like assassins slash tanks, which are very focused on roaming. They just want to shove the lane, they want to roam, they want to impact other parts of the map because they're not always the best in lane. Assassins especially fall under this category, but tanks or stuff like Galio, Gragas mid, those things kind of do a similar thing, even if they're slightly different. Next you have your lane bullies, so that's stuff like Jace, like Lucian. Those are the stuff I really like to play, especially Jace, of course. So the lane bullies, they're really focused obviously on getting advantages in lane and then spreading that to other parts of the map. And then lastly you have your scaling mages. Now their goal is really to stay in lane. What they want to do, they want to keep their opponent in lane, and they just want to farm up, match the wave with their opponent's wave, and just farm evenly, get to the team fights in the later parts of the game. And so I think it's important to kind of find which of those playstyles suits you best. Maybe you're someone who likes to play all the different type of stuff, and then you could choose one from each of those categories. But more often than not, people are going to be better at one style or another. So if you really like mages, maybe play some Ziggs, some Orianna, stuff like that, whatever mage you really like that scales. If you like lane bullies, Jace and Lucian are some great ones. And if you like assassins, you know, just get good at all the assassins. Play some Diana, some Akali, Katarina, all those types of champs. Just really find what works for you, and then really master that playstyle, in my opinion, is the best way to climb in mid lane. Okay, so one important thing to note in mid lane is it's very important before the objective spawn to be having the priority in your lane when you can. So you can see here, right before the objective spawning, there's about 2 seconds left on it. I'm immediately trying to shove my lanes into the turret so that I have the ability to rotate if I want to. Now I see an opportunity to take a plate, so I do so. And because my teammates are trading objectives, that now means that I can play towards one side of the map. However, since we're getting the Herald, that means that if I keep my lane pushed, it's really easy to drop the Herald in my lane as fast as possible and potentially get us a really quick tower, and potentially even get another tower due to the Herald changes and it getting so much of a tower. So you can see here, we end up shoving the lane. It's very easy to drop Herald right away. We're able to get the turret as fast as possible, and then I'm also able to pressure the Swain because we're able to just take out the tower so fast, and this allows us to even get a second tower here, as you're going to see. So I think it's just really important to note that you need to be pushing the lane when you can, the mid lane right before the objectives, and to do this then you can do things like get this Herald like I do here. And if there's not an opportunity to, you know, Herald mid or something like that, you can still help your teammate on the objective, and that's also a very useful thing to do. It doesn't always have to be going for the mid turret like this, and you could be fighting an objective because your team goes to the same objective, or you could be shoving that lane so then you have the opportunity to gank with Herald. Say your teammate dropped the Herald in your top lane, then you could, you know, go help out top lane when they drop Herald there. Just having the priority before objectives is very, very important. So yeah. Okay guys, so the next thing I want to note is pay very close attention to your jungler at all times and play around your jungle. In mid lane, the most important thing is playing around your jungle and trading when your jungler is going to gank, even if you are lower. For example, in this situation, you're going to see I'm going to trade rather aggressively despite the fact that I'm pretty low, because I noticed my jungler coming, and he luckily pings because he's pretty smart, so he's a good player obviously. But yeah, so we end up just trading. We make him think that he's winning the trade against us and that we're just lower and he can kill us, but in reality I have my jungler coming, and it's not even just in here. This is an example of trading more aggressively when he's in your lane or when he's coming to gank your lane, but you can do the other thing. you can pay attention to what camps your jungler is cleared. So for example, say that your jungler is clearing the blue side of the map, the top side, and he's cleared 2 of his camps and he's on his blue buff, and right after he's on his blue buff, he has no more camps. Well, you can expect him to probably be looking for a gank somewhere. So say you look top lane and you see top lane is very gankable, he's probably going to go there. So what you would want to do in that case is shove your lane immediately as fast as possible so that you have the ability to roam with your jungler. You don't want to roam, just magically decide randomly to roam just because you feel like it. That's not how you roam in Wild Rift, especially in mid lane. You need to be going with your jungler because it's going to give you obviously a 4v2 instead of potentially a 3v2, or potentially getting counter ganked as a 3v3 if you're just the one ganking without your jungler. So very important, just understand what your jungler wants to do. You can see here again, I'm looking because my jungler was going there. Now obviously my teammates get it anyways, but I'm looking at the position of my jungler. I'm going missing. I'm making them not really know where I am so that they're more scared. And even if it doesn't always work out, that's not what's important. It's just important to be looking for those types of plays, looking for your jungle and stuff like that. Also, this Yon, what an idiot. Anyways, so yeah, just pay attention close to your jungle and try to play with your jungle as much as possible in mid lane. Okay, so this example is kind of just going to be background gameplay while I talk about wave management in mid lane. So the real main things for mid lane that you want to keep track of in terms of wave management is, do you want the lane to be pushing? Do you want the lane to be pushing into you? So do you want it on your side of the map? Do you want it on the enemy side of the map? Or do you want it around the middle? And the way you decide this is, again, paying very close attention to the jungler. So I think the most important thing to pay attention to really is the jungler a champion who wants to gank a lot earlier or no? So if the jungler is someone who wants to gank a lot early, you're typically going to expect him to gank you often in mid lane, since mid lane is by far the easiest role, or the easiest lane to gank. So what you want to do in that case is keep your wave closer to your side of the map. The reason for this is because that is obviously a lot harder to get ganked, and you don't have to worry as much about that. Now, if you are against a non-ganking jungler, this is when it becomes more of your choice. So you still would want to hold the lane on your side of the map if, say, you have a ganking jungler and you want to potentially set up for an early gank. However, if you're able to trade really aggressively with the enemy and they don't have a ganking jungler, then you can be very sure that you're not going to get ganked, because it's like a Shyvana, say, for example, and she can't really gank you until level 5 because she doesn't have good gap closers. So in that type of situation, it's more about how the lane goes. So if you're able to trade aggressively and get like good trades on the mid laner, then it doesn't really matter how you manage your wave. It's more about the trading. So your wave management matters a lot more when you're worried about ganks, and you need to keep it closer to your side of the map. And then additionally, for wave management, it's really important to start pushing the wave again, like I talked about earlier, whenever there's something you want to do on other parts of the map. Whether that's you see your jungler potentially looking for a gank in a map in a different side of the map, so you want to get the wave crashed under their tower as fast as possible, that type of situation, or when you see your jungler going for scuttle, or when an objective starting to spawn, that's when you're going to want to be pushing the wave. So just in general, note that if you're worried about ganks, that's when you're going to want to keep the wave closer to your side of the map. And if it's not, if you're not super worried about a gank, that's when you can kind of be more free with your wave management and more just base it on the situation. Okay guys, so now I just want to go over a full laning phase of how I manage my waves against a melee matchup I have an advantage into. So most ranged champions are going to have advantages into melee champions. So this could be into an assassin or into something like a Galio. And I really want to note, early on in the lane, what I'm trying to do is keep the lane close to my side of the map, and then I want to slowly build up a wave so that level 3, level 4, around 1 minute 20, 1 minute 40 seconds, I can start roaming, because early on I have the biggest advantage, but as melee champions get all of their abilities, that is when you don't have the advantage anymore, because they have access to their gap closers and to their stuff to get closer to you and to poke you out. So you can see here, level 1, I'm denying Galio a full minion here. He loses his minion completely because he's so zoned off, because I'm really taking a lot of space in the lane walking up, but I'm not autoing the wave too much. This is because I want the wave to push into me. I know he has to use his first ability to clear the wave, and I know that's going to clear way too much of the wave, so I'm letting the wave come into me level 1, but I don't want the wave to crash completely. This also allows me to trade with him because he has to walk further up to clear the minions that are left. Now I get ganked here, which is a bit unfortunate, but again, because the wave is on my side of the map, getting ganked is not that bad of a problem. So now I'm starting to change from having the lane closer to my side of the map to pushing it into him. The reason is because I want to set up for a level 3 to 4 roam, where I can potentially help out my teammates or look for kills on other parts of the map. So my goal is to get the wave under tower the next wave. So the next wave I can see is already coming in the map. And so my goal is to slowly push this wave and then get it to crash under the tower once the next wave reaches me, unless I have an opportunity to trade with Galio. So you're going to see here, I'm going to use my first ability. I'm going to trade with Galio, but I'm also going to hit the minions with my abilities. And now I'm going to start pushing the minions as fast as possible so I can have an opportunity to roam. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. You can see I'm just mainly focusing on getting the minions. I'm not wasting too much time trying to attack Galio. I'm immediately roaming. As soon as there, I set up my wave, level 1 and 2, keep it on my side of the map. Level 3, start getting it pushing. Level 4, crash the wave under tower. Boom, now I have an opportunity to roam. I see a control ward, so I go to the other part of the map. I'm, again, playing with my jungler. My jungler's going here, so I'm going as well. I get my first ability onto the Janna, and then you can see Evelyn's going to finish them off here. So that's a very important sequence when you have a matchup advantage. I'm also going to end up killing Galio here, which is really nice. But when you have the advantage in the matchup and you know their jungler's not there, because again, I saw their jungler go to the other side of the map, you can do the wave management just like I did there, keeping it on your side of the map early. Then you get it to go closer to, you know, crash under their tower, and then you roam, you create opportunities like that. Then we got a ton of kills. We managed to get 3 kills out of that, and all that happened was I died. Very, very valuable, getting a couple kills into Evelyn, getting a kill onto myself. That's just a great way to manage wave into melee matchups. Okay guys, so now I want to talk about the differences between playing for roaming and playing for lane. So sometimes in lane you're just going to get an early advantage. So this Zoe plays it really dumbly. She tries to trade with me level 1, which is not going to work out for her. And so you're going to see here in a second, I'm just going to get a kill on her because she's not going to play it very well. And I'm not really worried about this kill because this was just because Zoe was horrible. But what's important is understanding when you need to change how you play. So in this game, I'm going to play very much for my own lane because I get the early advantage. So I know I can stomp this Zoe. She's not a good player. I'm just going to keep going for kills on her. So you're going to see here in a second. No, I'm going to keep aggressively trading with her. I'm going to keep trying to get an advantage. I'm not really going to, again, talk about the specific trades I make. It's more just the fact I'm playing really aggressive. Then I use my priority, again, to roam and help out my Evelyn, because my Evelyn is ending up fighting that scuttle there, and we have the level advantage, so I'm going to obviously do that. We're going to go help my teammate out, and then again, we're playing very much for my own lane though. I'm not going out of my way to help my teammate. I'm just playing near my side of the map, and just because there ended up being a kill opportunity, I take it. But I just keep playing for myself. I even end up switching to building Hullbreaker. You see I get another kill on Zoe. I just keep playing the Stomper. My teammates are fighting in the bot side, but I'm like, no, I'm 3-0. I'm stomping this player. I'm just going to keep playing for myself. I'm literally building Hullbreaker now because I'm just playing completely for my lane. I'm not focused on any other part of the map. And I might get ganked here. Again, you're going to see I get ganked. I end up dying. Not great giving a shutdown, but I'm playing aggressive because I know I can keep pushing my lead into this player. So I just keep doing that, and we end up just getting a huge advantage. You can see here another kill. Just what's really important to note is changing up your playstyle based on how the game goes. So that all the roaming stuff I've talked about, using your lane priority, playing with your jungler, that's super important. But sometimes you got to realize, well, I'm just a lot better than my opponent in this game, or my opponent's really bad. So I'm going to play for my lane. You're going to see here, I'm even going to go for plates here. And again, it's greedy. I'm playing greedy this game because I know that I can. Even if I die sometimes, like again, this was a bit too aggressive, but I can be this aggressive, and it's going to lead to great things because overall, I'm just able to kind of skill check my opponents and get a big advantage. So just changing your playstyle based on how the game goes is very important to note. So yeah. Okay guys, so the last thing I want to talk about is just understanding that mid lane's not always yours. So sometimes even earlier than here, but you can see here, I am this person who can match the Garen. My top laner, if I remember correctly, is just a lot weaker than the Garen, and he can't match him, but I can, so I end up going in the side lane and matching the Garen because I'm quite strong. And what's important is, regardless of the time in the game, you don't always have to be mid lane. Sometimes, especially assassins and bruisers like Jace, like Akali, like Yone, they're very strong in side lanes, so when you can let your bot lane go mid lane, and you can take the side lane, or you can let your top laner go mid lane, you take the side lane, and you take advantages on that side of the map. This is going to be most common after your bot lane either takes a tower or loses a tower, and that's because then they're going to have less protection if they lose their tower, so they might want to go mid lane to get protection, because oftentimes obviously ADCs are going to be a lot squishier. And obviously I do end up kind of messing up on the side lane, but we do get kills, so it still works out well for us. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say, just don't always be too tunnel vision on the fact that you need to play mid lane. If you think you're going to be more valuable in a side lane, maybe you realize your team is just losing, and the only way you're going to win is by split pushing and trying to get a lot of towers and get gold onto yourself and create 1v2, 1v1 opportunities. Like Akali, for example, is really good in 1v1, so if you're really strong, you might just want to get people to 1v1 you instead of playing for team fights because you don't think you're going to be able to win team fights. So just overall, understand it's okay to play side lanes. You need to understand when to play side lanes. It also helps you get a lot of gold when you're playing side lanes as a mid laner. It'll give you a lot more access to gold, and it'll allow you to just be stronger in general in the game and carry a lot more games. Alright guys, that's going to be it for the video. I really appreciate you guys for watching. I just want to shout out Akumadif again, my jungle partner. He was amazing. It was super fun pushing with him, playing duo queue with him. Made the game a lot more fun. It was really fun playing duo and just climbing really high with him. He's an amazing player. And then a quick thing I wanted to say. So some people, this is not super common, but some people don't like the fact that I played Jace because they think he's a top laner and not really a mid laner. So I just want to like say, Jace is a champion who's been played in many roles. Whatever role you climb with a champion in, I consider that to be climbing in that role, regardless of if the champion's really normal in that role. But Jace is very normal in mid lane. I mean, in MSI, if you look at MSI, mid-season invitational for regular League of Legends, Knight from JDG literally played like 3 games of it in the finals and won in an international tournament playing Jace mid. Jace mid's been played in Wild Rift competitive. It's just a champion that plays many different roles. And again, it's not super common, but I do see this from time to time that people say I like cheated on the challenge or whatever. But I also did get solo queue only about 10 games away playing Vex and Ziggs in the season prior to this one. So even if you think Jace is cheating, I still got pretty close, you know, without that. But to me, you know, Jace is a mid laner. He's also a top laner. He can even play jungle. And I just wanted to address that. Again, not a super big deal, but I just wanted to point that out. Again, I appreciate you guys for watching. Now that we got 4 roles challenger, we're going to be going for the last one on my Twitch. Going for support. Super excited to play support. We're already up to about Plat 2. We created our account recently. So if you guys want to check me out pushing there and everything, feel free to do so. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.